Hi, I'm Karina Knight, and I'm here today with Colin Mullard because we are in the farm, in tomato farm. We're learning how we're coming from the harvesting from this year. So we're learning about planting and harvesting and all these things. So why don't you tell us what we're going to do today?
Yes, we're just looking to move into this field for planting and want to ensure the conditions are correct and good for planting. We have a little cooler weather this week, which is ideal. The mid upper 70s, low 80s is great for tomato planting. And we've had a string of dry weather here, and so as soon as we finish this field, planting-wise, we want to be able to get the water on and the water to the roots and hopefully produce some healthy plants.
So I wanted to go through. I don't know much about planting, so if you don't mind, I want to ask a few questions.
Sure.
So I see here that the dirt is kind of dry. So what is the ideal dirt situation? Like how do you prepare it? Because now it feels like very dry and grainy. Like how should it be, and how do you prepare it?
So we try to get the soil as fine as we can with our tractors prior to planting, we try to work up nice so there's good root to soil contact with our plants. Ideally, there's enough moisture there that the ground's not sticky for the planters or the tractors, and they don't sink in the field, but enough to ensure that the plants are going to have moisture drawn to the roots rather immediately. And so in a season like this where it's dried out very quickly, it's important to ensure that we can get the water on appropriately and hope there's no issues there.
And how quickly so if you prep the soil, how soon after can you start planting?
Within a day.
So Colin, tell me more about the challenges that you face with planting.
Most of the challenge right now is a lack of remaining moisture in the soil, as well as the soil temperatures. With the heat last week, we have some higher soil temperatures, and a weaker transplant can be injured or killed with hot soil temperatures. They girdle right at the stem and will slowly die after that. The other thing is just in heat, we have to stop early as well, and so we don't make as much progress as we'd like with the heat, and so we're working a little bit longer days during nice weather. And
how have you guys made improvements of how you process and plant the tomatoes?
So a couple of years ago, we converted from all 3-bed planters that plant 3 60-inch beds at one time to 5-bed planters, and so it's 5 60-inch beds at a time with slightly larger tractors, but it takes less tractors to do the same job and a couple less people, so it alleviates some of the labor concern we've had in the past.
Okay, so I'm sure other people are like me that don't know anything about planting. So I would love to know how this works. So what exactly does the truck do? Where are there 3 different ones? How does it work?
So these water trucks, they fill our planters up with water and a little bit of fertilizer in there to give our plants a boost right out of the gate with planting. They'll fill up the tractors with water, and then they'll load the plants on our trays, and then they'll be ready to go to plant.
So you were saying earlier, how many plants does one person plant in a day?
So one person on each one of these planters will handle approximately 18,000 plants per day.
18,000 plants per day. Okay, so we have the tomato plants here. When did these get planted, or how they came from seed, and what happens after this?
So I purchased this seed in January and sent it to a nursery of my selection, and they plant these, and they're in the greenhouse for approximately 70 to 80 days, and they finish them and try to harden up the plants so they're durable for the outdoors and not too soft from the greenhouse. So these are approximately 80 days old. We want them around 6 to 7 inches tall, and they'll be pulling these trays to put into the planters here shortly.
So one of this is planted, just this one little one.
Correct. So this is what we call a tomato transplant plug, and so they will be handling them individually to put in one at a time.
Okay. So this is 6 inches tall, and then this one's going to go into the ground. They're going to sit there.
Yes. So if we can go over here.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll come in, and the wheels rotating because it's on the ground with pressure. It's being pressure driven from the tractor, and they'll place the transplant right there. So the root ball is going to go into the ground as it rotates in the wheel. So it'll close, the finger will grab it, and they'll let go, and it'll move all the way into the ground and be planted in nice deep soil.
Okay, so how far into the soil does it need to be?
So ideally it's roughly 4 inches deep.
4 inches.
Yes.
And then this puts more soil on top of it?
It does not put any soil on top of it, but it seals the soil after it plants around the plant, so there's no air gap.
Okay.
And the way we're planting right now is, if that root ball is 4 inches deep, then it's approximately 8 inches above our drip tape line. So the water source is right there in order to push the water to the plant.
Okay. And how does the irrigation work? Like, how frequently do they need to be watered?
With drip irrigation, it's really nice. We're able to spoon feed them water as needed and not push too much water to them all at once. And so we irrigate our tomatoes 6 to 7 days a week, depending on the time of year. And it's just in nice small increments in order to get them what they need and when they need it.
So there's different types of tomatoes. Which are you guys growing? There's Roma, or there's like the cherry. Which are these types?
So these are specifically processing tomatoes, and they're more specifically for peel and dice processing. Our specific customers have needs for good quality peel and dice tomatoes, and we've targeted certain varieties that will do the job we need.
So these are the best for canned tomatoes, which are going to make our best tomato sauce.
Correct. Yes. And they have great skins that come right off in the peel process, and nice and clean, and has that quality dice product that they can use.
Actually, I have a question. So what makes the flavor different? There's some tomatoes that are a lot sweeter versus some that came a lot sour. Is it anything to do with the soil or how they're harvested?
Some of it's to do with the soil, but much of it is to do with the variety selection that we have. And the sweeter ones tend to have better soluble solids or bricks. And that's what many of our customers want, are higher soluble solids and bricks.
What does that mean?
So it's roughly sugars. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so they're getting ready to start planting. Can you tell us a little bit more what's going on?
Yes, they've just loaded all the plants onto the planter. They're getting situated here with their seeding, and we have the fertilizer water on, testing and make sure the pressure is good enough that we're putting on enough water with fertilizer with these plants going into the ground, going right in the root zone. And they're just going to get started here, and we can see how quickly they move with these plants.
Yeah, the ladies were saying that they're pretty quick at it, and that they really enjoy, that they like talking while they're doing that they love spending time with each other, that they love coming in.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that they can multitask like that. I wouldn't be able to talk at all if I was doing this job. So,
okay.
Once these wheels hit the ground here, they'll start turning with some pressure from the soil, and they're placing one plant in each one of these fingers as it rotates around.
Oh yeah, I'm counting. It's like every 3 seconds there's a new plant going in.
Yeah, and they rotate between one another. It's one after the other, so they have enough time to load plants into their hand and then put them in the right position into those fingers that shut prior to entering the ground.
Oh yeah, I see. So they're alternate, one on each side, one goes in. I see.
And we're pushing aside a little bit of soil to hopefully get to a little bit more moist dirt and get out of some of these dirt clods. And so we'll take a look here at the water after they plant.
Okay, so what are we looking at here?
So just want to dig to where the line is of the fertilizer water and make sure we're putting these plants deep enough. There's a little bit of sticky dirt right there, a little bit wet, that we're trying to get to the plant, make sure the plant is upright and deep enough. There's the root ball is a couple inches deep, so we're okay right here. Good seal over the plant stem, and just a little bit more cloddy than I like, but it's been a challenge with the dry weather that we've had to work up this ground more fine than this.
So for now, it seems like it's good to go.
It is indeed.